Okay, so this story happened a few years ago, and I'm still not over it, and I don't think that I ever will be. Me and my wife had decided to take our 2 kids down to Disney World after I got a pretty decent promotion. Our kids loved everything about Disney, and we thought that it would be the perfect family vacation for them. And just for context, my son was 3 at the time, and my daughter was 4. We booked a hotel in Disney, and even got all the fast passes and everything you possibly could to make the trip more enjoyable. Well, on the 3rd day, we were at the Magic Kingdom, and on that day, they had like all the Disney characters walking around in costumes and taking pictures with the kids. Well, my daughter saw Princess Jasmine and literally burst into tears and was begging to meet her and to go get a photo with her. There was quite a bit of a line. There were a bunch of other characters interacting with the kids and parents, and it was overall a pretty positive and fun experience. Except when we saw Mickey. As we were standing in line for my daughter to get a photo with Jasmine, my son saw Mickey Mouse and also started to freak out. There wasn't a line for Mickey, and he was waving his hands for our son to come take a picture with him. I walked my son over to him. Mickey picked him up. I reached into my bag for the camera and realized my wife had it on her and was still standing in the Jasmine line not too far off. I turned around real quick to grab it, but when I turned back, Mickey and my kid were both gone. Like, I mean, just vanished. It was very crowded, and I couldn't see them anywhere. I started running around, pushing people aside and yelling my son's name out. And then, I still can't believe this happened. I ran to a back part of the park not too far from where we originally were standing, and I see that same Mickey Mouse with my son walking out some back exit fence. I full-on sprint over to the fence and yank my son out of the hands of Mickey. He was crying hysterically. Mickey then hopped into this white van that was parked nearby. There was like 6 people in the van that I could see. Mickey hopped in and the van sped off. I immediately went to the park security and explained the situation. I can't go into full details about what I know, because the investigation is still ongoing, but it turns out that van and Mickey were a part of some human trafficking organization. I'm already telling you too much. My lawyer said not even to write this, but the people have to know that there are people in the world who would do anything to cause harm and evil. And these organizations run deep. You wouldn't believe the people in power who are associated with it. But my son is safe, and that's all I care about. We ended up getting comp from Disney for the next 3 seasons. Always be alert, and always be aware of your surroundings. Last year, me and a bunch of my girlfriends all decided to take a trip to Disney World. Now, I live in Florida, and all my other friends had to fly down and see me, but it's always worth it to them, especially when we can just go to Disney whenever we want to. Well, it was a Friday. All my friends were with me, and we were at Epcot's Drink Around the World. This was the day that we were going to let loose and pretty much just get drunk and have fun. We were at this one outdoor bar that they had in Epcot. And just for the people who don't know, Drink Around the World is pretty much the place in the park where you can order a drink from any country. But anyway, I think we were at the UK part of it, and we took our seats at the outdoor bar. Now, I'm always the paranoid one of the friend group. I'm always looking in, seeing who's around me. We take our seats, and there are these 2 other guys sitting directly to our left. They both had their heads bent, like they were in deep conversation, and they were staring at all of us. I get that that's not a big deal, but again, I'm the paranoid one, and I took notice of it. We each order our first rounds of drinks. The day is going completely normal so far, and that's when I said I needed to go to the bathroom. There were 5 of us total, and 3 of my other friends said that they would come too, leaving my one friend alone at the bar by herself. I asked her if she wanted to come too, but she insisted that she did not have to go and would save us our seats. I looked at the two guys sitting next to her one last time before going to the bathroom. When we got back, I saw our friend acting a bit strange. She was a little slumped to the side, and she was almost falling out of her chair. That's when I noticed that the two men were no longer there. I asked my friend if she was okay. She looked at me with these hazy eyes and barely could form a sentence. Then she completely collapsed into my arms. I immediately started yelling for help. Soon after that, we got my friend rushed to a hospital nearby. They ended up finding ketamine in her blood system, which is in most roofie drugs. When I found this information out, I just knew in my heart that those two men sitting next to us slipped her something into her drink while we went to the bathroom. I went back to Disney and demanded that they pull the videotapes from that day. And yes, clear as day, Disney saw the footage of these two men pouring a white substance into my friend's drink while she wasn't looking. Here are some updates. My friend is completely fine and nothing is wrong with her. As for those two men who did what they did, their faces are out there, but they haven't been caught. Me and my friends have not been back to Disney since. Not too long ago, I took my 2-year-old son for a trip down to Disney World. He's obsessed with The Lion King, Toy Story, and pretty much anything kids Disney. And for context, I was a single mom at the time. Well, I had just saved up enough for both of us to go down and decided to pull the trigger on Disney. But I'll be honest, going to all the parks as a single parent can absolutely be exhausting. But it was truly worth it to see my son's face light up at all the rides in the parks. During our time in Disney, I bought my son one of those autograph books. It's so you can have all the characters sign them and you get to keep it as a gift. Well, for my son, I literally got him every autograph that I possibly could, all the way from Captain Hook to Elsa. Now here's the really strange part. When my son and I got back home from Disney, I was unpacking all of our stuff back into our apartment. I was going through all the merchandise and gifts my son got when I found the autograph book. I picked it up and started going through all the names. On the very last page, there was this message written that didn't seem to come from any of the characters. It said, "You need to keep a closer eye on your son. We exist, and he is not safe." I had to reread it like 5 times because I simply couldn't believe what it said. Another thing that I noticed, every character that signed the book signed with a black marker or Sharpie of some sort. This message that I found was written in red pen. I remember every character that signed it, and I watched as they all gave it back to me. None of them wrote that message. I ripped that page out and showed it to my friends and coworkers. Nobody can explain how someone could have written that in there, especially without me noticing. I've kept the autograph book, but I've since torn up the last page. I'm not sure if I should have kept it or not, but the message was just too disturbing, and I did not want it near me. My son still loves Disney, and we've been back twice since then. But on those trips, nothing has happened, and they were completely normal. To this day, I have no idea who wrote and left that message in my son's autograph book.